and unhealthy conditions thriving inside the city's safety measures for the homeless and people struggling with substance abuse.
He didn't want to die. He didn't want to die.
Cox calls this attempt by the city to help people like Shane a disgrace.
What you're doing is not working. It goes from bad to worse. Every time I am down here, it is worse.
We've seen this situation spiral out of control during the past 5 years. It's a complex problem and the city's plan isn't working. It's impacting businesses, residents, and the hundreds here on the streets. Drugs, a man on attack, weapons tucked away, people in the throes of addiction, some unconscious on the ground. The human and financial cost is staggering. Data obtained by 5 Investigates shows there have been 12 homicides in 5 years there. Police responding to almost 10,000 incidents so far in 2021.
People are in the worst moments of their lives in a tent on the street. And we've got to get them the care that they need. We've got to get them into a safer environment. And that's what we're working on every day. But we've got to do some things differently, and that's what we're trying to do.
Marty Martinez, Boston's Chief of Health and Human Services, says the system is failing.
No one should lose sight of the fact that families all over our city are struggling with this disorder and all over the Commonwealth. And so what you see there is the impact of a system that's broken.
Our program is designed to teach high school students about substance abuse while also providing them with the information to make an informed decision about using. Substance use in Boston has grown to be a big issue. Individuals who have substance abuse disorder are a public health problem because many of them become impoverished and struggle to keep up with the demands of society in Boston to stay healthy and protected. Because of drug addictive qualities and impacts on hormones and chemicals in the brain, it is incredibly easy to fall into a pattern of regular drug usage. About 11.3% of the population of Boston abuse drugs and alcohol. The state also reports that the mortality rate due to opioid and drug use has increased in the last 16 years by 450%. So you may be asking, why is substance abuse an issue today? Substance abuse has been an issue for centuries, but with the availability of drugs, illegal and not illegal, they have been more accessible than ever. In the past, it has proven to be very difficult to regulate the distribution of substances. Usage of substances often has a high morbidity. Using drugs affects all aspects of life and can cause a plethora of serious medical problems and death. Substance use disorder also has a high comorbidity with other mental illnesses. When someone becomes addicted to drugs, physiological changes take place in their brains and bodies.
Why are high school age students the perfect population for our intervention? Well, high school students are at the prime age for making their own decisions. They are about to go off to college or into the workforce and will be gaining a lot of responsibilities and freedoms they didn't have before. They still have the structure of high school, making it relatively easy to implement a class for them to learn about substance abuse. The target population served by our program is high school students in Boston. The population of students in Boston high schools is 15.2% white, 29.3% black, 9.1% Asian or Asian and Pacific Islander, 42.4% are Hispanic, 0.3% are American Indian or Alaska Native, 0.2% are Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, and lastly, 3.4% of students are 2 or more races. 48% of this population is female, and 52% is male. 33.2% of high school students in Boston are learning the English language in high school, and about 50% of this target population speaks multiple languages at home. Also, about 50% of the population are at an economic disadvantage living in the city. Our goal is to provide aid to high school students that suffer from substance abuse. In Boston, the prevalence of substance abuse is 4% higher than the national average.
Children will be taught by professionals and specialists to help with the lesson plan, as well as psychologists and other resources for students outside of the class. The reason why we should bring in specialists is so that children will look at them as being knowledgeable in specifically this one thing rather than their teachers, who need to know the subject they want to teach. This will help us facilitate an environment of genuine curiosity and willingness to learn by the children. The curriculum would be developed to be taught by both existing teachers and by instructors that would be brought in. Existing teachers would teach parts of the curriculum because of the existing relationships they may have with their students, which can make it easier for students to trust their instructors and the curriculum they are being taught. These teachers would be trained before the start of the program by the professionals and specialists mentioned before and would be retrained each year before the beginning of the school year. The curriculum would mainly be taught by outside instructors, the professionals and specialists brought in, because of the more specialized knowledge they have. Their more detailed knowledge in their specific areas of expertise means they would be able to convey more complete knowledge and skills to the students.